Hey guys, welcome back. So we're at a point on the house where it's time to start doing some plumbing. And the very first thing I want to do is get this water heater set up and plumbed in. But we've got a problem. It's down here and it needs to go up there, up in the corner. But that's all right. I've got an idea. I've definitely done sketchier things, so that didn't go too bad. That is an electric hoist that I got for Christmas a couple years ago. I got a jib to put it on. I just haven't gotten the jib put up, and I thought when I was thinking about how to get that water heater up here, I was like, oh, that might work all right. So we're up here in the mechanical room. You can see I've got chipboard put on the walls, and the walls insulated and everything, so that when we get the water heater set in here, it's good to go. It doesn't have to come back out. But for right now, I just need to get it out of the box and kind of mock it up here, set it in place, and I'm putting these drop ear elbows. They will screw to the wall here. And so I just want to set the water heater up, see where it makes sense as far as how the hoses and everything go, and then we'll take it out, we'll mount everything up, get it all plumbed up, and then we'll put it in permanently. Well, the tank fits back in here pretty good. It's honestly a little tighter than I thought it was going to be, but it fits in here fine. And I think sitting this way, turned out just a little bit, it will give plenty of access to everything on it if it ever needs to be worked on or anything. So this didn't quite end up exactly how I thought it would. I don't know what I was thinking getting these great big long hoses. Well, I mean, I guess I know part of it. For some reason, I had in my head that this was going to be shorter than this, but it'll be fine. I think I'll probably mount the water line up around here somewhere, and then that'll give plenty of room for the hose to kind of bend around. I was really hoping to mount these so that the hose only had to bend in one direction, but I don't think this will be a problem. We'll put it'll be a little high up here, but I think that'll be fine. And then we'll mount this other one right over here in this area, and that should work pretty good. This is where we ended up. So the water heater is still in the same position. I ended up, from where I had it, I scooted this one over just a little bit. That gave me just a little bit more slack in these hoses. For whatever reason, I grabbed 24-inch hoses, and that may very well be the best thing for this instance. So I got plenty of room to snake around, and it's not too tight of a bend or anything. But for whatever reason, I was expecting, I don't know, I was expecting to have these higher, I guess. Well, I guess I was expecting this to be lower, and then have the valves up about the same height, I guess. I don't know what I had in my head, but anyway, this is how it worked. So these are relatively high, but I think they're in a pretty good spot. You can reach them plenty easy, and we'll get the PEX. We'll just run that down the wall and then down through and into the floor. And then we've got a drain pan and stuff that we'll hook up. As we do the plumbing, we're actually going to end up preheating the water before it comes into this electric heater. So you remember my wood stove that we've got outside? Well, if you look way back in the plumbing for it, the plumbing that goes to the floor heat, I put in a heat exchanger, and the idea is that we could preheat the water coming from the well before it comes into the hot water heater. So during the winter, while I'm running the wood stove, this water heater may not even need to kick on, other than just maintaining the heat that's in there. My wife likes to take really long showers, so I imagine once she empties this thing, then she can take essentially endless hot water showers, because we'll be heating with the heat exchanger. So that will have some a little bit of extra plumbing in getting the supply line to this. So for now, I'm going to take this all apart and get this heater out of here so we can work on some of that plumbing. Now, in order to get our holes in the right spot, I'm just going to take this level. So this pipe's going to be running down the floor, and then we got to go through the floor here. So I want to go ahead and drill those holes. So I'm just taking my level here about as close as I can, eyeballing the center of the pipe, and then setting it plumb and making a mark down here. Now I can pick up that same mark again. We'll go to plumb, and then that will be our spot on the floor. Same thing over here. Now, as far as where exactly on the floor, we've got a floor joist that's 1.5 inches. Yeah, it's 1.5 inches wide, so we'll want to be outside of it. So I'm drilling a 1-inch hole, so we're going to go right at 2 inches. That should put us pretty close to that floor joist. To get the plumbing over to the holes that we just drilled, first we'll be coming from here. So this is the main supply line into the house, and then this is the heat exchanger that I was talking about earlier. So I've got these 2 holes drilled, and what I'm going to do is splice into this line, come out this bottom hole, and we need to come over and enter in here, and then the water will go through the heat exchanger, out through this one, and then we'll come up, we'll go back into this hole, and then up into the floor so I can go where I need to go. It would have been kind of handy to just go up through the ceiling, but this is easy enough. This is 1-inch line, so I'm not worried about putting too many elbows or anything like that in it, and it'll be nice and clean. I don't have to worry about the sheetrock guys messing up the pipe or having trouble getting around it or anything like that. So the first thing I need to do is cut into this main line it's got water in it. I shut off the well pump and I drained the pressure tank, so hopefully there's not too much water that's going to come through here, but we'll see how that goes. Well, there's a little bit in the cup. I got this one-handed ratcheting tool for doing these lines, and that's proven to be a game changer. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that with one of those long-handled sets. So this isn't too bad on the 1/2 inch and 3/4 lines. On the 1-inch lines, it's quite the bear to squeeze. It's kind of a two-handed job even when it's out here in the open. So doing that one back in there was pretty tough. So I poked the pipe up through the hole in the floor here, and yeah, I'm color coordinating them. The water heater has it marked on top which one should be hot and which one should be cold. So get this crimped on here. And then I've got these clamps. They're just little J hooks, if you can see that there, that nail on I'm going to use to straighten this pipe out and hold it nice and straight, flat against the wall. And we'll do the same with the red side, hot side. This is where we ended up here with the heat exchanger. So we've got, just like I said earlier, we've got our water coming in through the heat exchanger up, and then yeah, this pipe basically just goes into the wall, goes up and comes back over, and then we've got an elbow, and this 1-inch line goes along over to the bathroom over there. But if I didn't explain it earlier, this valve setup is here so that if we ever have any issues with the heat exchanger, or for whatever reason I don't want to run it, we can just turn these two off and then open this one, and then we've just got a loop that bypasses it there. When I was working on this last night, two different things happened. So before I started all this, I put together this master plan, and I ordered a bunch of fittings from PEX Universe, and I got all those fittings, but as would be normal, it's pretty hard to predict what all you're going to use, and I ended up being short on, I think, 3 or 4 1-inch elbows that I guess I didn't think about needing, although it was pretty obvious. So I had to run to the store and get that stuff last night, and then also running this water line ended up being a huge pain. So it's a 1-inch line that just comes down through here like this, nice and straight, until I had to move it over to the left there, over this way, to avoid that fan. So after I got it past the fan, then I needed to curve over to come in and hit where the water lines go up to the water heater. Well, 1-inch PEX in a coil, I don't know if you've ever worked with it or not, but it's pretty stiff and heavy to do anything with. And then to try and fish it through all those holes, one, I drilled the holes too small. I should have gone a little bit bigger. But then trying to get it to snake through those holes, that was an absolute nightmare. I pulled and tugged and pulled, and it's a wonder I ever got it. But finally, this morning, with some fresh muscles, I got it to go ahead and pull through. Now it's time to clean this mess up. So I've got a 1-inch line, as you can see, coming in here, and then we go up into the water heater as 3/4. So I know I'm losing a little bit of flow, probably going from 1 to 3/4, but the water heater is plumbed 3/4. It's got 3/4-inch pipe fittings, and I'm still getting more flow than if I had gone 3/4 all the way back from that heat exchanger back there. So what I've got here, I did actually plan for this. This is an adapter elbow. So this is 3/4 on the top, 1 inch on the bottom. I can stick it in there and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna see if I can get this pipe wrestled around and get this fitting put in. Of course. Well, that didn't go too bad. I put a couple of those clamps there, you can see, to try to keep that pipe halfway straight. It's got a lot of memory in it right now, so hopefully eventually that will settle out. And then for the hot side, I think I'm just gonna roll with this. It had a pretty nice bend already in that direction, and it's gonna come over, and basically I'm gonna run a trunk line down the house going that direction. So basically this is just going to come over an elbow and then head back this direction. So for now I think I'll just leave that elbow out of it. I know I'm not exactly a poster child for not putting extra fittings in, but I mean that seems to make sense. So let's go up top and see if we can get the water heater put in and set. Alright, so let's see if we can get this thing set in here now. First thing we're going to do is I've got a drain pan I want to set it on, just in case any leaks or anything should come up. So I'm going to thread this fitting in there. This is an aluminum pan, and then I'm going to set it here. I'm going to set it with the pipe facing to the right, underneath the pressure tank. And then so I've got plans for some plumbing. I'm going to go ahead and plumb these in. I'll have a drain vent over here that we should be able to plumb into, and then should anything leak, it'll just drain into the septic system like all the other drains. Alright, now let's see if we can get this wrestled back into place and do so without smashing our little pan. There. Bring it out a little bit. So our holes in the floor did affect the location a little bit. Maybe I need to go back some. Yeah. Something like that. Something like that. I've got my fittings all taped up here. I know a lot of people say to use pipe dope. They don't like Teflon tape, but I've always gotten along pretty good with tape, as long as you put enough on there. And to be honest, I think a lot of guys are are too messy with Teflon or with the pipe dope anyway, but it probably does work pretty good. I've just never really had a reason to use it. So I put the valves on this way so that I can orient the valve this way, and then down will be off. So I think that will do it for now on this one. We got it wired up. I wanted to leave plenty of extra wire there in case anything ever moves or changes or whatever, but I didn't want wire just flopping all over the place. So we ended up with that. All in all, I think everything came out pretty good. So I think that'll do it for this one, guys. I just kind of wanted to show the water heater, how I plumbed it in, and what we did with that heat exchanger, plumbing the feed line to this. I've still got several things I want to do before I fill it up and turn it on to test it out, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.